Hello there, and before I launch into today's Rantcast, I just wanted to let you know that I'm talking about Mother's Day part of the time, and that's because I recorded it um, before Mother's Day, and I realized that this will be coming out after Mother's Day, so I didn't want you to think I'd lost complete track of time, although that has been something I've been doing quite a lot for the past, ever since the pandemic. Many people I know have been losing track of time, but that's I do know that Mother's Day occurred, and I hope yours was splendid. Also, to let you know that I'm heading your way, West Coast. That's right. I've got some time off, but on August 15th, we're boom, boom. Sacramento, August 16th, San Francisco, August 17th. Fabulous Santa Cruz, where the 60s have never ended. August 22nd, if you're looking for sunstroke, join me in Las Vegas, Nevada. And on August 23rd, Los Angeles, California. August 24th, San Diego. Go to the website, lewisblack.com. You can check out exactly where, when, how it's all going to happen. There are also some dates coming up in October. Pennsylvania, keep an eye out for those and pick up, the Lewis Black Fan Club if you want to get the best seats in the house. Happy Mother's Day, even though this is happening afterwards. Just get a time machine. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello and welcome to the 222nd edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled "But the Pope is an American." And that's it. That's all I have to say today. That's the intro to my Rantcast and the end of my Rantcast, and that really is it. Because that is really all we need to say. They picked the Pope that no one ever expected to be picked. Bob from Chicago, yep. But he's not calling himself Pope Bob, which would be great. And then we wouldn't even have to say, but the Pope is an American. We just say, sure, there's a problem with our governing, but hey, we got Pope Bob now. And what couldn't be better than Pope Leo the 14th, okay? I mean, talk about humility. He could have picked Bob and certainly thrown the gauntlet down like so many Americans love to do. But as the world looks at us and wonders what the fuck is happening, we can now say, well, sure, there's problems, but the Pope is an American. So we balanced it out. We have the material crazy and the spiritual crazy, and now it all balances out. So things could not be better, I think. I think it's in part a response to what's happening here. I think those cardinals who were all many of them, 90% of them, I think, were picked by Pope Francis. They all gathered together and say, who the fuck are you? Hey, look at what's happening over there in that other country. Look at what's happening in America. Whoo, that's just wacky, wacky, wacky. So why don't we really try to balance things out by picking an American and showing them that there is another side, and so we have a counterbalance so that a debate takes place, okay? Since it's not taking place here in a fashion which allows us to move forward, maybe it will on the worldwide level, okay? It was, I don't know what else to say. I just think it's kind of a perfect response. Sure, we've got this, but the Pope is an American. Sure, we're screwing up, but the Pope is an American. That should be able to help, shouldn't it? I've said this to a few people. They don't seem to understand it. I hope you understand it. I think it's one of the greatest arguments we've ever had as a people. That sure, we're screwing up, but we're really trying because the Pope is an American, and that really is it. I'm going to be there'll be a lot of stuff coming your way. That's for sure. And I just wanted to get that out to you. As we head up to Mother's Day, I want to thank all the mothers out there. Okay? And I want you to remember that the Pope is an American. That's right. And remember, like as I said last week, for you mothers out there who want that extra kid, $5,000 is in it for each one of you. sure you're going to want to line up for that. Maybe, and if your husband isn't game, maybe just wander off for a little artificial insemination. But the Pope is an American, and he certainly is. And from Chicago, from which I know well because of my good friend Jim Yashimura. And a shout out to him. And he's a White Sox fan. Not Jim. Jim is pretty much a Cubs fan, but he's kind of pissed at management, and but thinks it's a good sign that he's a White Sox fan. The South Side he comes from, and Jim thinks that good. And Jim's a Catholic, and if Jim likes this guy, then I like this guy. Why? Because he's an American. That's why I like him. So sit back, enjoy, and watch what happens as the world just got a little bigger and a little smaller simultaneously. I hope you enjoy all of the rants that you'll be hearing this week, because we've got some new ones. And let me just thank everybody for shortening them up. I think it really kind of makes for more people being able to really get their rants in. And I look forward to reading the new ones that will be coming in. And I really can't thank you enough for sitting down there and writing them out. And remember, there are a few again that are about the boss, but the less it's about the boss and the more it's about what is really bothering you. Okay, on that day to day when you pick up the phone and you're talking to that artificial intelligence for the 15th time, asking you the same questions over and over again, the ones that you explain to the people when they do the little thing at the end when they ask you, don't you have some things you want to discuss here? Wouldn't you like to leave your, we want to know how you feel about our work. And you try to explain to them that their work sucks. And because the questions that you're asked in order to get to the person you're supposed to get to do not lead you to that person, but lead you generally to going back to the beginning, and then the phone hangs up again and you start over. Huh? That's the kind of stuff you're going to want to get out there. The frustrations, the nonsense, the bullshit, the stuff you eat that drives you nuts, the way in which we have managed to take really the wonders of this century and turn it into a big pain in the ass. Once again, I'm sitting there for the 300th time. I sent something in, and I answer this question the same form week after week after week. Isn't that why we have computers? But the Pope is an American. And that's really all that counts, and that's really all that matters this week. And hopefully he gets everything on the right track, because Lord knows we need the help. So thanks, Pope Bob. Thank you very much. Thanks one and all to all of you out there for spending this time with me. And it really does mean a lot. And I can't tell you how much. So that when I'm spewing this nonsense into the air, I know that a few of you are listening and somehow find solace from this. And I sometimes find solace from this too. Just being able to shout at the universe in this, my tiny public access studio. Okay. Take care. I hope this is a wonderful week, and have a lovely Mother's Day. Truly. I miss mine, because I know that she would have some advice for the Pope and for the boss. And remember what she said as I sent out my little, social media things today, that every day is Mother's Day. Every single day. Everyone. It's all about Mom. She certainly made certain that I knew that. And pretty much every Jewish son knows that. So I know she's up there, and she'd be spending some more time kind of focused on me, but she's got to work things out up in heaven and make it really a nice place before I get there. And I'm sure I will now, because the Pope is an American. Take care. Christine Galarno, but that sounds Irish. Sorry, Christine. It's French, I'm sure, but I can't get it right, and I apologize. Galarno. Hi, Louis. I'm from Montreal. Excellent. Excellent. When I'm waiting for the bus, seems people don't know how to stay in line. Usually you stand to the left, but they all pile up on the right. And I just can't get a good place on the bus. Drives me nuts. Come the day that I just had enough, I put my arm out and said, "Stop. You're not getting in front of me." The lady was saying I was nuts, but I said, "So nuts I will be. I don't care what you think. I was here first, and there's no goddamn way you're passing before me. Okay?" Thank you, Christine. I hope that helped. And that you now get your rightful place on the bus, because that's a pain in the ass. I'm keeping this anonymous, and here we go. And thank you for sending this in. If Rosie O'Donnell can take her autistic child to Ireland and live safely there, why can't I? Because I'm poor. That's what it all boils down to. If there is no white male property owner with disposable income who is willing to shelter us and help us to get to a different country, it is a very real possibility that one or both of us will not survive the next 4 years. Where are the Schindlers of 2025? Nobody's going to start a business employing us as writers until we can get safely out of the country. Rich people are just going to keep spending all their money on dog food and fast cars and plastic surgery. Am I right? Is everyone just going to go on with their lives like this isn't happening while the president's biggest campaign donor puts neural links in the heads of autistic kids? Everybody understands that Uncle Bobby's Happy Good Time Wellness tent enclosures are going to be work camps for disabled kids, and that's how they're going to bring back manufacturing, right? And according to a recent ProPublica article, the company deployed resources who used to make tent closures for festivals like Lollapalooza recently got a $3.2 billion contract to erect and maintain tent enclosures at Fort Bliss in Texas, right? And there are 6 other military bases that will be used for this purpose, right? I don't really know. I don't know. I don't. And I certainly can understand why you're pissed, but I'll keep going. And if they are shipping the worst of the worst illegal, criminal, violent gang member immigrants to a whole different country, who do you think is going to end up in those tent enclosures? I have a pretty good idea. There's going to be a diaspora of American autistic children and their caregivers, and I really hope we get to be a part of it and we don't end up in a pile of bones in a ditch next to the cemetery. Unless there are some good people in the world who put their money where their mouth is and actually care about children who will never pay taxes, that's what the next 4 years is going to look like. I just don't know if they're going to put autistic children and young kids into camps and that's where they'll be working. I don't know if that's going to be the work camps for disabled kids. And that's how we'll bring back manufacturing. That seems a little paranoid, but nothing seems to be that crazy paranoid. And if that's the way you feel, by God, I'm glad to read it out loud for you. And we'll see if anybody responds. Okay? And I'm glad I kept your name out of things. Okay? I don't want them to come and get you, especially if that's what you think's happening. And it could be. For all I know, it could be. From Jay Simon. This is one we haven't heard about at all. I know it's fallen out of use these days, but I still see it in old movies and TV shows from time to time. And what I want to know is this. Why was cocksucker ever considered an insult? I'm sure it has something to do with our puritanical sex hangups, but who has honestly looked down during a blowjob and thought, well, this person is obviously terrible. And if you have thought that, why are you letting them do that to you? Blowjobs are wonderful. And so are the people who give them. If you're willing to bring that much pleasure to someone, you don't deserve to be insulted. You should be praised. We should be building statues to these people and having parades. We should be dancing around them like seraphim, around the throne of God, chanting, "Holy, holy, holy is the cocksucker." Look, I know we have bigger problems, but I think we owe a debt to these people. If we can't have public celebrations of blasphemous hedonism, I think we at least owe it to them to work on our own skills so that maybe we can bring them the same kind of pleasure that they bring us. I'm damn sure going to do my part. So good for you, Jay. And I'm glad you're willing to help. And thank you for that truly expressive rant. All hail the cocksuckers. That made me laugh, Jay. Thank you. Mark Smith has something to tell us. There is no such thing as natural deodorant. Don't even try to sell me that shit. It's a scented paste that lasts as long as it takes you to get dressed. Of all the chemicals we put in and on our bodies, we should not skimp on the common courtesy of not singeing my nose hairs with your BO. Leave the good shit in there, huh? It's there for a reason. I don't care what it is. Asbestos, great. Aluminum oxide, foil wrap that fucking scent in, okay? And an actual green glowing nuclear rod, even better. That ought to shrivel up those sweat glands enough so I can breathe. Holy fuck! No flower petals and eucalyptus oil can arrest such power. We need some serious shit for these assholes. And why is it these idiots who use that bullshit paste always work in a job where they are reaching up over people all day? They also refuse to take the seat or hold the vertical pole in the bus or subway. And instead, they reach up over the next victim and rain down on them. And that should constitute as a hate crime. Once you get a whiff of it, it stays with you. You can't unsmell it. It stains your nose. And now, for the rest of the day, you are checking yourself to see if you stink. All because of this fuck that thinks natural deodorant works. Mark sent this in from Brooklyn. And he says, I know you would not be able to let the misspelling of your name slide. I did, Mark. It was my way of saying a special fuck you to you. Thanks for the therapy sessions. Thank you, Mark, for the therapy sessions. For this therapy session, I mean, natural deodorant. God, I haven't even smelled that stuff. I use something that just blocks out I can't even, it allows me not to smell myself. What's amazing, Mark, I'm surprised you didn't write about the new deodorant for everywhere, for every inch of your body. Boy, now we can get rid of that stuff faster. They finally found out a way to get rid of deodorant faster. Everywhere. Put it everywhere. Unbelievable. Huh? I'm really surprised you didn't bring that up, but I'm glad you brought it up. Natural deodorant. Thank you. Here's something from Eric Sanders on a subject we've never heard about. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and entitles it The Curse of the Accordion. Lewis, this may very well be the most disturbing story you've ever heard. Send the children out of the room. When I was 7, I wanted to play the guitar. My mother took me to the local music store in my hometown of Perth Amboy, New Jersey, where we met the owner and music teacher, Mr. Achi Ani. We told him I wanted to learn the guitar, and he told us that I would cut my fingers on the strings. I'm sure this had nothing to do with the fact that he taught the accordion and not the guitar. This is how the curse began. My mother would drop me off each week at the store and pick me up after my lesson until that one fucking fateful day. It was a dark and dismal day, as I recall. The gods had other plans. My mother picked me up that day, and instead of coming home immediately, as usual, she said we needed to pick up a few things at the store. We went to the local A&P. I said I wanted to wait in the car with Shirley. Shirley, I will point out for Eric, is his accordion. But my mother said, "Don't worry, Shirley will be fine." So we went into the store, and as we came out, my hands were clammy. My heart was racing, and I was about to shit in my 7-year-old pants. We got back to the car, and the back window was smashed. My precious Shirley, surprisingly, she was still there. Now, there were 4 accordions in the back seat. My parents told me I had perfect pitch, so I suggested we stop by the nearest dumpster where I could perfectly pitch all the accordions in it. The fucking delicate genius has spoken. I guess you're the delicate genius. You have to explain this a little better. I read it because I've never heard of anything like this. 4 accordions. Did they all not? They all just hated the accordion, as obviously you did, or did was he a terrible teacher? I only know one guy, my friend Rusty McGee, who played the accordion, and I've never understood it. It's an instrument I've never understood, and usually comes along with a monkey. That's what I would tell Rusty. If he could get himself a monkey, we could be making real, or I could dress up as a monkey, I thought, and we could have made some real money. Eric, thank you. For whatever it was that happened, you've got to explain that a little more, and I will add it if it makes any sense, or if you weren't bullshitting me. Okay. And, wow. And did you pitch them? 4 accordions? I'd at least sell them in order to get the money to fix the window. All right. It's enough, Eric. It's enough. From Scott Klaus. Yet again, the roundabout, the curse of the roundabout. If I have to drive through one more gridlock, Bettendorf roundabout at 3 p.m. on the way to the pool hall, while these people pull up to the yield sign and put their cars in park, waiting for the roundabout to completely clear of all traffic, I'm going to drive right through the middle of the thing, right over the grass and those little baby trees you just planted. It's supposed to flow. There's no traffic light because the idea is to keep the traffic flowing through the intersection, not to sit there eyeing each other from our motionless cars like vapid cows in a field waiting on the moon. French-ass roundabouts. That's what you are. That is what you are, Bettendorf. France? Not from my parked car at the roundabout, you're not. Put your pinky finger down and drive the son of a bitch. Unbelievable. These roundabouts. I thought I'd do a little more of a take there on the end. I think I nailed it for you. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for sharing. Here's one from Rodrigo Gutierrez Jauregui. Dear Louis, I just need to get this off my chest. I'm a medical researcher with over 15 years of experience, education and qualifications up the wazoo. For several months, I've been trying and failing continuously to get a new job in the industry in my own field. It's soul-crushing how many applications are sent and ignored by companies, reaching several interviews just to be told in the end that the position no longer exists, that they had an internal candidate that they would take instead, that they are looking for someone that costs less, but has more experience somehow. But I am hardly unique in this. There are thousands of people right now suffering from the same problem. What angers me the most, what really has me gnashing my teeth, is Workday. I do not know if you know what this is. It is the platform for online job applications used by most companies. In theory, it should allow human resource departments to contact applicants and provide a multi-company platform for recruiters. In reality, it means that every job application for every company requires you to create a new profile in a software that you already registered to. a software that insists you upload your CV and then proceeds to ignore it, so you will have to write all your qualifications, experience, and education again, wasting mine and everybody's time, as the recruiters will then never use these programs to contact you, choosing to write emails instead, or even evaluate your credentials, which is done during the first rounds of the interview process. I swear to God, I have so many Workday accounts and more build up every day. Whatever happened to contacting the person you are going to work with? I fail to see the spike in efficiency in this. Well, thanks for letting me rant. I hope you have a great day. I hope you do, Rodrigo. I really do. I'm really sorry you've got to go through this madness. It's incredible. We came up with a computer. We came up with a way that this bullshit should just go into a system and be held there. And you should only have to do one form. That's the idea of it. But no, it's like with it's just unbelievable. It's just, well, that's all you need. One form for this. Hopefully you'll find a new job soon. And but you have that dreaded word, a researcher. You're a researcher. We're not doing research anymore. We've gotten past that. We don't need to do it because we have AI. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But thank you, Rodrigo. Before I forget, thank you. From Marlin, he's letting it rip. Let me start by saying I'm a creature of habit. I get up every morning, go to work, put up with the constant bullshit the day throws at me while I'm there, and finally the workday is ended. Now I can relax. I'm on my way back home, open the door, say hi to the cat, give her a hard time about how fat she's getting, head to the kitchen to make something for dinner, and at this point, life can't get much better. Put on some burgers, because, hey, you can't go wrong with burgers, right? No, you can't. Coffee drinker here? I know what you're thinking. Coffee after work? What can I say? I love my coffee. Get the coffee out, put it in the coffee maker, turn it on, and check on my burgers. Looking good, by the way. Get the bread and all the condiments out and ready. Finally, the burgers are done. With my plate made, I get my cup for the coffee, Lewis. I can only guess at what happened in the next 5 minutes. Most of it is just a blur. Apparently, I had forgot to put water in the coffee maker. I fucking lost it. There were references about people's mothers I've never met, goat fuckers in the Himalayan mountains. At one point, even Juan Valdez came up. How the fuck could I forget the water? I have a set routine. Every day, the same fucking thing. Started to think I had Alzheimer's. Really? At 59? You need water to make fucking coffee, you moron, I said to myself. My whole routine was shot to hell. I'll never fucking relax now. One simple forgetful moment and the world turns upside down. Now you might say to yourself, it's just coffee. You can put water in it now. That's not the point. It wasn't ready when I wanted it. Now I have to wait 5 more minutes before I get any. The world is going to shit, and I lose it over coffee. Needless to say, I have my coffee now, and all is right with the world again. Thanks for letting me rant. Well, thanks for ranting, Mark. I enjoyed that immensely. You should hear me. When I have something in a piece of something that I'm taking, like toast even, or a slice of something, or just a piece of cheese, and I'm moving it from one place to the other and it falls off whatever I've got, I flip out. It's just, you shouldn't be doing this, Lewis. What is the matter with you? When does this stop? When does this end? Can't you do something, a simple task? Can't you just do one simple task? And can't you just accomplish it? All you got to do is move this from this to there. And you can't even do that. God, you make me sick. I do a lot of, I make myself sick. It's nice to know that I'm not the only one, Mark. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for sharing. I love the way you turned the corner. Everything right with the world, and it just goes to hell because you forgot the water. Wow. And speaking of coffee, let's follow this with Helen Pantuzzo. And as I've said, I really like to do stuff about our boss, but it just follows because it's just this one was there, and then the next one was this. They like cluster together. So coffee appears again. These asinine tariffs are about to make life under Cheeto Mussolini even more unbearable because they are hitting coffee. Coffee, the very liquid that makes life at least tolerable, that prevents women across the country from strangling their dumbass husbands, drowning their screaming ankle biter kids, and going postal on the other moms in the school pickup line. Coffee that we can't grow in the United States. Coffee that has saved more relationships than can ever be calculated. What the fuck is the moron in chief thinking? Just because he drinks that swill called Diet Coke, he thinks it's okay to take away the only thing that gets many of us out of bed in the morning? What the actual fuck? I understand it, Ellen. I understand it. One of my favorite things that I've said, but apparently favorite to many others, was coffee. We drink coffee to give us the illusion we're awake. And I can see that it works for you that way, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to let us know what you're feeling. This is a quickie from Linda Housетouch. Am I wasting time writing this, or will you answer my question? Who loves off-ramps that have a traffic light that backs up traffic to the last exit on an off-ramp that has its own traffic light? Why? Well, I guess you're wasting your time because I have no answer. I just love the question. I really did, and the way you wrote it, and and it's being in the midst of moments like that traffic backup. It's one of the reasons I don't drive anymore, Linda. Maybe you should consider that, or maybe talk to your neighbors about it, or the policeman when they pick you up because you're screaming in the middle of the day in your car and they can hear you. Thank you, Linda. Thanks very much. From Guy Lorschbau in response to something I read last week. Last week, you shared the story of an Idaho teacher bullied by colleagues over a poster embracing unity and acceptance. You said those cowards should find a place where others share their ideas and skin color. As chance would have it, there's a terrific place right here in the Pacific Northwest for assholes like them. It's called Idaho. My wife and I, longtime Oregonians, made a trip to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a few years ago. While perusing an antique shop, we came across a lovely display of racist artifacts. Mammy dolls, porcelain sambos, you get the gist. The kind of thing that only belongs in the Jim Crow Museum. Someone was trying to turn a profit on this shit. Mind you, this was in the last bit of COVID, so it should go without saying that we got a lot of stink eye from folks who thought the masks on our faces were somehow a threat to their freedom. Fuck Idaho. Thanks for reading. Guy from Portland, Oregon. Thank you, Guy. Thank you for that. Wow. Idaho. But I do like Boise. There's more to Idaho than meets the eye. I think there's more to every state now that meets the eye. I'm sorry you stumbled into that, but Coeur d'Alene you went there because I think it's beautiful, right? It has a great golf course. I've never been there. And my friend Jeff Stilson, who opens for me, he has a place out there in Idaho. He loves it on a lake. It may even be Coeur d'Alene. I'd have to check on that. Thank you, Guy. Here's one from Mike Burdick, and he's responding to something that we read in a past episode. In making every effort to keep my opinion short, concise, and somewhat coherent these days, but sometimes I just can't stop the tangent train. Regarding episode 219, Abigail's opinion about pork products and breakfast protein necessity almost made me jerk the wheel and mow down the fence line of a local farm. You see, I'm currently a union electrician in upstate New York, but for 15 or so years prior, I was heavily involved in the restaurant industry, most notably as a chef, and believe me, the combination of chef life, pride, sarcasm, and electrical construction basically makes my beliefs and statements as untouchable as President Cheeto, especially when it comes to undeniable abrasive alpha bragging. You see, I'm never wrong. And if you find cracks in my theories, well, you're nasty. And it's unfair, and I never said it. Biden did, or Obama. The difference between POTUS Orange and myself is that I know what I'm talking about and have experience in my corner. In focusing on Abigail's nonsense, I have this retort. Do it yourself. I'm not attacking Abigail because that's just too MAGA easy to do, and I'm far from that. Repeat, far from that. I have a brain. I'm not a sheep. I can think and decide for myself. However, she personifies the typical annoyance I got bothered by in both my former careers as chef and my current situation as a regular food stop gas station patron. The virtue and entitlement of said customer has far surpassed always right and become the customer will bitch about anything. Nothing is ever adequate anymore. Nothing will satisfy the hunger of social media attention. Nothing will fill the void of an insatiable, bitter appetite, and nothing will ever overcome the snooze button and pillow comfort that the extra 5 minutes and cost-saving measures Abigail could attempt to capture by making her own fucking food. Stop complaining about fucking nonsense like gas station sandwich protein options. Seriously. Get out of bed and make your favorite thing and then look in the mirror and tell yourself to fuck off. Thanks, Lewis. No, thank you, Mike. Thank you. It's an interesting take on it. Look in the mirror and yell at yourself. I enjoyed it, Mike. We'll see if she responds. Might have pissed her off. It'll be interesting. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.